Hi, guys. Welcome to Riding the Bench yet again. Today, we are talking about the WNBA CBA. The players want the league to pay
What's the CBA?
collective bargaining agreement.
Thank you.
Um, the players famously wore shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe us" at the All-Star game. Napheesa Collier had a viral exit interview. And there have been some explosive moments along the way as it pertains to the current CBA expires on Halloween, on October 31st.
Correct. In a week.
So really, we want to kind of break down what's going on with the WNBA CBA, what the players are seeking, and really kind of have a conversation that speaks more to the player leverage, player power, and really kind of, I feel like we're at a tipping point with the W in terms of, the players' compensation situation, revenue share, things like that. And frankly, their mistrust with the league office at this point. And things are pretty fractured. So it's definitely some drama.
Also, we've talked about Fee a little bit and her involvement in all of this, and it's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Also known as Fee. And we get into this a little bit on our TikTok page.
Yeah. So actually, let's kind of start there. Let's talk about what Nafisa Collier said in her exit interview. She basically spoke to the press in, we're going to lay out some of the key quotes because they were pretty spicy. And really came for Kathy Engelbert, who is the commissioner of the league. She said, "We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now we have the worst leadership in the world." Direct quote. When she had a closed-door meeting with Kathy, she complained or spoke to her about inconsistencies with the officiating. The referees have been an ongoing topic all season. Throughout the playoffs, inconsistency with the referees was Kathy apparently said to Nafisa. She also asked Kathy directly about rookie pay because thanks to how NIL has reshaped college sports, we have rookies coming to the league that frankly have large platforms and earning power already. Yes, Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Meredith loves you, Caitlin.
I love you too, Kate.
I'm lukewarm about Caitlin, but I like Paige.
I know. We'll get into a whole debate about that.
She basically said that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million.
Kathy said this. Not Nafisa.
Not Nafisa. Yes. Thank you. The Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA.
You guys need a visual of Kathy.
Yeah, we'll show you.
I feel like I always need a visual of who these women are.
We'll show you Kathy.
Maybe I'll do
Yeah, on social.
A graphic, but
graphic placement of Kathy.
I mean, Kathy has a look. Sorry. It's like a very specific look. So I would like to show.
Yeah, show Kathy.
Keep going.
Show Kathy. So apparently in this closed door meeting, Nafisa Collier came with her receipts to her exit interview. There's Kathy.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, this is an appropriate venue to talk shit about Kathy.
I just feel like she looks like she sits at the slot machines, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. So yeah, in Fee's closed door meeting with Kathy, in addition to saying that only the losers complain about the rest, she also said that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything.
Also, that figure just feels so arbitrary and like erroneous. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just so many problems with that statement. But the point is homegirl saying stuff she shouldn't be saying.
Oh, I mean, I think one thing that we've talked about kind of in private and on our socials is really just like, we work in leadership. Like, to think about saying something like that behind closed doors to an employee, like, I would never, because I would know the risk of reprimand existed, and it's wildly unprofessional.
Not only that, it just shows just such the level of disconnect between Kathy and the players.
100%.
Like I don't even like, that's obvious to say. I guess that's like not groundbreaking for me to say, but I just mean like they're so far apart from a partnership perspective. Like, it feels like clearly the league has been moving in this direction. Kathy moves kind of like in tandem with it, but they are not adjoined. She is not a player-facing individual, and like not everyone is, so I get that. And like business is business, and I think she's done pretty amazing things probably on the business front for the league, which Nafisa says.
Yeah.
But
She got them a big TV deal.
Yeah.
Like that was the main thing that Kathy did. And she comes from like she was like the CEO of Lloyd. It's like she's like a financial consulting
Yeah.
person. So like
very respectable, like on a lot of fronts, and very
Yeah.
strategically placed into this role. So I'm not discounting any of that, but I just think it's sort of like, we talked about Sandy. It's sort of similar. I think like we're facing a time where it might just not be the right optics. It might not be the right fit from a commercial standpoint.
Totally.
And I think also the league really needs to see a leader that they want to champion.
Totally. I mean, it basically resulted in immediate fallout. And I think a lot of that stems from Nafisa and who she is. Like, I mean, how do you view her just like as a fan? Like, what is your perception of her and why do you feel like her words like just really struck a chord? Yeah.
She's so cool.
Yes.
She's, first of all, she's like incredibly talented, obviously. She's like multi MVP candidate, has won
Defensive player of the year.
Defensive Player of the Year, went to the championship finals last year, just in recent, and then went to the post. Like, I think she's gone to the postseason the majority of her career, honestly, but I can fact check exactly how many seasons. She's the VP of the Players Association. So she's not only like amazing on the court and has like extensive accolades, which again, we talked about this a little bit in prior sort of mini episodes, but she's also extremely well respected by every single player in the league and by the league leadership as well. So what she says really matters. She doesn't fuck around. She's also like, I don't know how you feel about her, but I feel like she's so poised and well-spoken and articulate and like has such good professional chops. And like, she's not an emotional player, which there are many of those and some of whom I really enjoy. But she's not that.
She's for everybody. She's incredibly measured. I think this is someone who like when she's saying something like this, she isn't coming into every post-game press conference, popping off, having overly emotional reactions to things. For her to say something like this is like, shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everyone's going to listen. And then it really rippled beyond the league.
Totally.
It like totally blew up from a media perspective on the WNBA, like on the inside. But also, I mean, there were like really, I mean, it rippled into like the NBA players, big media journalists, like everyone was kind of talking about it. So
she got unwavering support. Like I heard of. Have you heard of anyone coming out and criticizing her statements? Yeah, same. So it's like really we've heard kind of like robust criticism for the league and how the league office's relationship is so fractured with the players and they're so far apart in terms of the CBA negotiations. But I haven't heard a speck of criticism for Nafisa Collier.
Yeah, because she's the best.
She's really, yeah. It just was crazy.
It was also like a really big pivotal moment for her to like really strategically and from a very measured perspective, like take a stand. She knew what the fuck she was doing. She knew everyone was going to listen. She seized fully. And I think that's really cool. Like we've really never seen that. Like whether it's WNBA or NBA or MNBA as I like to call it.
MNBA.
But there's really no equivalent to that level of mic drop, honestly.
Yeah. And I think what made it even more kind of fascinating and turned it into even more of a medium. I mean, this happened right at the start of the WNBA finals. And this was like the biggest story. Like people were not talking about what was happening. And I mean, it's a pretty boring series, but I think like part of what made it like sort of extra chaotic and fascinating was the fact that Kathy Engelbert also came out and basically like denied that she said those things behind closed doors. Like at one point,
she denied it. She just like didn't even address any of it. Like it just felt so soulless to me.
I think she said that some of the comments weren't true.
She did.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't mean like not even denying it. I mean in addition to denying it, like it wasn't even that bothered me so much because of course she was going to deny it.
Yeah.
But it was just like the tone and the level of like apathy almost for what she said was like really a turnoff for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think
I
at
didn't
one
believe a
point,
word she was saying.
yeah, it felt very performative. At one point, it was like they were scheduled to kind of meet after this, and then that fell through.
Oh, Nafisa canceled it.
Yeah, Nafisa canceled it because Kathy kind of like made the suggestion that she didn't make those comments about Caitlin Clark, and then at that point, it was like, well,
We're at a dead end.
yeah, we're not going to meet. So that's kind of like probably the most like public,
Launching into this.
yeah, thing that happened launching into the CBA negotiations. I think there are a lot of players, and if you're a fan and you're kind of tapped into what's happening with the WNBA, like you kind of know that this is coming. But I think that really like put it on everybody's radar in a very meaningful way. So I think like for the casual fan who doesn't really like totally understand the CBA, let's kind of talk about like what this means for the upcoming season. So let's talk about kind of like how they come to the negotiation, the numbers, what they mean when what the players ultimately mean when they say pay us what you owe us. So let's talk about the current CBA. The last deal they made was so they're in like a 5-year cycle. They did get some base salary increases. They improved their travel, and it sounds like they also benefits in there for the players.
Well, it was less than 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of had to.
And then the primary thing that they're still arguing about is revenue share. So the revenue share was still conditional in the current CBA that expires next week. Or by the time this goes live, it may have just expired. We'll see. We're not really on a schedule here.
We're trying.
But yeah, the revenue share in the current CBA is still relatively modest. Obviously, we're hearing about.
Break down do you know what it is? When I get into the number.
Do you know the percentage?
I believe, I could be wrong. I can fact check this really quickly, but I believe so. I mean, the biggest, we don't even have to get into specifics, but like for point of comparison, right? The NBA players get 50%
of the
league's revenue. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking awesome. As they should. They're the product, right?
Yeah, they are the product.
I believe in the WNBA, they get 9%. And there are complexities that make it impossible for the WNBA in this round of negotiations to make it up to 50%. Like there are blockers there. I don't want to get into all of that, but there are complexities. Just the cap table that owns the WNBA that make that hard. But the fact that they're at 9% is totally inexcusable. So just to paint the picture of the disparity between the two. Granted, like there's so much context that goes into this. It's not like this just happened overnight. Like the WNBA has been bailed out many of times because of the contracting interest in the league, and like it has growth stages and then it contracts, growth stages and contracts. So that's a big part of it. But right now is the time. It's the moment.
100%. And I think part of what they're kind of hung up on is that the revenue share is conditional in the current CBA. They want to make sure that it adjusts and scales like with growth.
Yes.
And I think that's when they are ultimately like the product that's bringing in the fans. Like I agree with them. I think that it should. I mean, I think we've all seen in the last 2 years just sort of like explosive mainstream growth in the league. Like we always known that it's existed.
Right.
And we've been watching probably longer than the average casual fan, but really in the last 2 years, I feel like that's where you started to see that spike. And all of the emerging data, I mean, valuations are up on the league. I mean, we had an expansion franchise in their first season in Golden State get valued at $500 million, like incredible valuation for WNBA. And that has sort of set the standard for so many different things in terms of what it means to like own and operate franchise, essentially, in terms of player resources, engagement, like, things that a lot of the existing franchises are frankly lagging behind. But, ratings are up, huge sponsorship. Surges.
It's hard work.
It's hard work, guys. We don't have any media training. But like player salaries and the revenue share for the players in the CBA ultimately lags pretty significantly behind.
Let's talk about their salary.
Yes, let's do
you
it.
guys know what they make?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Tell us what the highest paid. Do you know? I actually don't know.
I do know.
What is it?
It's like $278,000 a year.
Okay, and is it like Asian?
Yeah, it's like a veteran. What they're what the league proposed in the upcoming CBA is that a veteran max contract like that, like an Asia Wilson, would make close to $1 million
Asia
a year.
Wilson's the MVP. She's like a
Yes.
3-time over MVP. Sorry, what was the math? I mixed it.
This is salary, not revenue share. But in the current CBA, they're not suggesting terms that meet the revenue share demands of the players and what they proposed recently, but it would bring the max contract up to about $1 million a year. So it's significant growth in terms of base salary, but like we're talking about what's LeBron's contract? It's like $50 million a year or something like that. It's absurd.
Let's talk about Shohei Ohtani.
Well, the Dodgers are doing like their whole like deferred payments thing, like to subvert the salary cap. It's crazy.
It's really insane, but they already made it all back. Year one.
Yeah, no,
Talk
it's crazy.
about a masterclass.
No, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, it just points to the like insane level of diversity. But part of the diversity, which we could spin this off into a whole another episode, is just fandom, right? And like ticket sales and the commercial value of all of these teams, whether it's WNBA or elsewhere. So that's why we're here. We want to talk about it and we want to elevate them and talk about women's sports more, honestly. But anyway, I digress. I'm just so fascinated by the numbers of it. I love to like understand the salary and points of comparison between them versus, granted, you really can't compare. It's apples and oranges, honestly, to compare like a WNBA salary versus NBA salary because the revenue is so different. But I think what they're just asking for, what they deserve. What did their shirt say? Pay us what you owe us. It's not pay us what the NBA makes. It's not outlandish, crazy requests. Like they just want it within the context of their business model to make sense.
Yes, 100%. And I think like part of what the players are frustrated about is that there's like a list to really show them what those revenue numbers are. They won't disclose it. Right. And so it's created this tension between the players who are ultimately the product and the owners in the league office. And so, you know, they're basically asking for guaranteed salaries, which like would be increasing this year based on what the league came back with, but the Players Association is ultimately rejecting at this stage. Broader revenue share, and then they want to see the financials. They want transparency. And I think that's fair and reasonable as a stakeholder.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I was dumb.
If you're getting a revenue share, you need to have the transparency of the information.
Totally.
Period.
Totally. So they're really just trying to be like smart and prudent, like business people themselves.
I also think that there's a factor of commit, like the fact that we pay them so little, not we, but the fact that they are paid so little forces them to find other revenue streams and or go overseas and or play in leagues that they get hurt in. They're just, it's like unreasonable. And most of the players, and there's like so many good documentaries about this. Did you watch the Diana Taurasi documentary? It was so good.
Yeah.
But like, I think that they do a good job of showcasing just like what these players really have to do because they're paid so criminally. And that complicates things further, right? Like, I just wish that we could get to a place where we're really protective of our players and the product on the floor and that like we hold it sacred and not like force them out basically and force them to find other revenue streams. So I think like, wouldn't it be amazing if the players were just paid what they deserved and like they didn't have to like double down and play year round and open themselves up to injury and all of these other like side hustles and partnerships, which are great. Like, of course, like get your bag, girl, but like, you know what I mean?
But like men can be more discerning. They can be more discerning.
Like their contracts alone are fucking life-changing. Like men's contracts alone.
Yeah.
Regardless of the sponsorships and partnerships that they do, like their contracts are absolutely like multi-generational altering.
Yeah. And I mean, even what you see like in the WNBA All-Star game, for example, Natasha Cloud wins the 3-point contest and there was a $250,000 like bonus for that or something like that. I don't remember what the exact number was, but something like that, a 6-figure bonus. She was like, I'm going to buy a house or I'm going to like put a down payment on a house. It's like these male NBA players just like literally buy a mansion in whatever city they get traded to. It's like
kind of many times part of the deal.
Yeah.
They're above and beyond their salary.
Above and beyond their salary that they're provided with housing. And so it is like a really stark contrast. I mean, I remember at one point, like what I found the most baffling, and this is why I kind of knew what that veteran max contract was.
Uh-huh.
I remember reading about Sue Bird at one point, who is
Okay.
like a legendary player of the game. And I was like,
What was her earnout potential? Is that what you looked up?
no, it was like I read something about WNBA salaries being abysmal, basically, and they were like showing Sue Bird's salary. This is like one of the most decorated players like to ever play the game. I was earning more money than she was, and I was like, this is like an elite athlete that is like to me that was
As big as it gets.
as big as it gets, and it was mind blowing to me that my salary as an executive in the apparel industry was higher than Sue Bird's annual salary.
Retail pays shit, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so let's kind of get into culture, power, and pay equity, because ultimately that's what this comes down to. There is sort of a broader cultural angle. This moment definitely intersects with gender, race, leadership, and like media narratives for sure. So in many industries, like Women Ask for Fairness, it's not uncommon. This here also include they're sort of like tied to this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's a little bit more personal. It's like we're able to disconnect from our jobs in a way that they are not.
Correct. Especially in this modern day.
Yeah, so I think like Nafisa coming out and making statements about the league leadership, it also kind of pokes at these double standards that we've talked about in other episodes as it pertains to just like the culture and growth in women's sports. She said basically that the league's leadership to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I mean, what was your perception of the league holding fines over the course of the season as like a means of kind of like silencing people?
Yeah, they tried. It didn't work that well because the fines are kind of left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a clear strategy of theirs. I mean, every time anyone said anything, and it was like in many different iterations. Like I know Sophie Cunningham kind of goes off and she has her podcast, or
Yeah.
maybe she's just a guest. I don't know.
No, she has a podcast now.
Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of
And
leaned into her little.
she kind of goes off, and she can be pretty fiery, and she gets fined all the time. You send obviously like a not glamorous tweet, and you can get fined. So it's definitely their tool to silence their players, but it's not working, which I think is fantastic because it shouldn't. Like we're in this like very clear inflection point, and like no, you can fuck right off.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because they're fining her like $500.
Correct.
It's like, how we're talking about how these women aren't getting paid enough, but at the same time, they're kind of leveraging these nominal fines
It's
at
worth
them. The players just feel like they're rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah.
they're rolling their eyes.
And I don't really know how that works. Like, do they really come and collect? Like, I don't know how that works. But
I don't really know how it works. I mean,
they're like just deduct it from my whatever. I don't know. They're like deduct it from my already shitty salary. Like,
yeah.
okay, find me $500.
Do you feel like there is any element of these stalled negotiations that is tied to the brand economy around like specific star athletes? Like they just feel like these people have enough partnerships by leveraging NIL that.
Do I think that the league thinks that?
Yeah, like that they're just like, well, you guys are making more money now by virtue of partnerships and off court marketability.
I don't think so because every league is like that. I mean,
Yeah.
every star athlete is like that, and like that should be the case. And like if they usher in those huge partnerships and brand deals and sponsorships, like that's just better for the league, honestly, ultimately.
I mean, I agree.
So I don't think so because like I don't know. I'm like not smart enough to be in like the total semantics of that all, but I think that just like is part of the flywheel, and that's like an expected part of the business, actually encouraged. And like if you look at the NBA or really any other major sports league, right? Like that doesn't distract from or detract from their salaries.
It's true. Okay. Sorry, guys, getting distracted. So yeah, I mean, I think like the overall or the overarching kind of theme here is that really we need to bring kind of the average consumer back down to earth in terms of what they're asking. They're not asking to match NBA players' salary and earning capabilities. They really just, to your point, want it to scale as their existing business model scales.
Exactly.
Yeah, appropriately.
Like, yes, exactly. In conjunction with their, with their league. You know what's interesting though that kind of just occurred to me is that the I think what the league is afraid of, I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not like smart enough to be in the business economics of this, but as managing businesses myself and being a P&L owner and getting pretty in the weeds of all of that, I think what I think that they're trying, I think they have to be smart. The league has to be smart about their counter negotiations and their negotiations into this because it is a moment right now. It could be like they probably fearful it could be fleeting.
Yeah.
And like if like even Caitlin Clark, I think so many eggs are in the Caitlin Clark basket. And she garners so much viewership, like love her or don't. She matters for the game. And there's like a bajillion stats that can back that up. But I think, and like say what you will about her play or, like her talent level or whatever. The fact is she brings in eyeballs, she brings viewership, she brings tickets. So if that's a fleeting moment for the league and there is a retraction again or something like that, they don't want to overcommit and bite off more than they can chew in this negotiation round.
Totally. All right, so what happens next? Let's talk about projection scenarios and how like listeners should probably interpret these CBA negotiations, I guess, since we really are trying to talk about it in a way that's sort of like casual and digestible.
Yeah, what does happen next? I mean, they owe an answer on the 31st, but I feel like that's not going to happen.
I think it's going to get pushed out. It sounds like they can push it out to, it's like 6 weeks or something like that, November.
I didn't know that.
Or December. I mean, the players can ultimately opt out. They're going to opt out.
Here's my problem. I have season tickets.
So do I.
And I need this wrapped up so that I can get the full season.
I know. We're going to be so pissed if we're in a...
This is the problem too. Like, fans are putting the pressure on too. I mean, everyone is really supportive, I think, like from a social perspective.
Totally.
About these player negotiations. So I think hopefully that level of social pressure is going to make things accelerate in the direction of players.
That would be my hope. I'm hoping that pressure does kind of get the league to get things moving because they're too far apart right now. We need them to get a little bit closer. I think everyone's going to end up making some concessions because I don't think a lockout benefits anybody. The players are definitely like talking spicy, like we'll lock out. Like we're not going to pay. We're not going to play until they give us like what we're asking for. But I do think that the players will probably end up making like some concessions and then the league is going to, they're going to meet each other because nobody really benefits if they lock out.
But I do think that they feel that this is their chance. Like this is their chance. Yeah. They're never going to have a riper opportunity. So I could see them being
like fuck you,
standing firm. Yeah. I really could. And if that has to eat into the season, I think they're like, fuck it.
Yeah. We will be sad as fans.
I'll be really sad as fans,
do you feel like, okay, sorry. Pause because I lost my train of thought.
No, sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, it's fine.
I think that's a beautiful outline for us, by the way. Andrea works really hard.
I try to be honest.
And I just fuck it up. So I'm really sorry. I just want to talk to my friend. I like the prompt. Don't get me wrong.
No, and we're off prompt all the time. It's really just a guide so we don't miss anything really critical in these conversations. And you know what? Like sometimes it's out anyway. So sorry, guys. Okay, so really what I also want to get your feelings on is Kathy Engelbert. Is Kathy gone? Is Kathy gone? Like, Kathy's not gone yet, obviously, but is Kathy going to survive this crisis of confidence in her?
Like my prediction?
Yeah.
I think they're going to remove her. I know that's bold and a lot of people disagree, actually, but I think they will.
I agree with you. I think Kathy's done. I think she's going to be collateral damage in this. There's no way to get around.
Yeah, and look,
that the players don't have any. I think ownership in the league office can probably repair their relationship with players. I just think Kathy is,
and she's going to be fine. Bye, Kath.
Bye, Kath. Okay.
that they're sort of cutting bait with coaches, like all the different leagues are cutting bait with the coaches, and there's just like a whole shakeup in general happening in the league. I think this is part of that. I think this is part of a rebrand moment.
I agree. And I think they're like these are like crocodile tears from Kathy.
Correct. That's what I was looking for earlier. Those are the words I was looking for earlier. She's just I'm not buying it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is kind of like a game-changing moment. I think this is obviously like one we couldn't gloss over, and even though they aren't actively in season, it just feels like it's like any fan that is following women's sports, the growth of the sport, or really just the WNBA, the WNBA in general. This is like so clearly on their radar. So that's really where we're at. I mean, obviously, we will circle back with you all once we see how these negotiations unfold, because this is like a critical off-season moment for the W. But yeah, it all, and we've known these negotiations were coming, but ultimately it kind of came from it was like a snowball effect from the time that Nafisa Collier kind of gave her very spicy exit interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She was issuing a challenge to the league.
Exactly.
It was fuck around and find out. Like, it was very fuck around and find out from her.
Yeah.
That's it for today. If you guys are listening and you love sports, drop us your thoughts in the comments. What does fairness look like to you? What does pay equity look like to you? We want to hear from you. Yeah. So comment, DM, tag us. And yeah, keep following along if you are enjoying these conversations.
Bye.
Bye.